Hi everybody, it's 3 p.m. and welcome to It's Time for Dinner with Nanny Bubby. I'm so excited today. I've been running around picking up all the extra food that we might need for the big game day, so there's that. And I am making today a tri-tip with the most unusual marinade that you could ever imagine. So stay tuned for that. But first of all, we are going to make collard greens because we have been on a 4-day juice fast and we're waiting for everybody to find us here live and start tuning in. And because I believe there's a time to feast and a time to fast. So we don't eat gourmet every night. And hey, Randy Marvin, thank you for being here. You're our first one in, so happy to have you. And so about 4 days, every 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, we do a 4-day juice cleanse and a bone broth in between. So we juice in the morning, we juice at night, and then we drink or sip bone broth throughout the day. And it just helps us feel in control and helps us feel balanced about everything. And we either do it right after we've had a big feast to feel better. Hello, Saeed, nice to see you again. Or we do it right before a big feast. And so Big Game Sunday is a big feast in the Letitia household, whether we're having 5 people or whether we're having 35 people. And of course this year, as in years past, hey Tom Gallagher, nice to have you here. We got all these men showing up. This is great, must be because we're talking about the big game on Sunday and a great marinade. But before we get to that great marinade, we are going to first start with the collard greens. So here we go. Tonight we're breaking the fast for the first time and eating a great dinner. Hey Yumi, how are you? Nice to have you here. I have in the pot, what we've started with here are, let me get this camera, there we go, collard greens and butter and olive oil. So we're heating up the butter and the olive oil. And as that heats up, we are going to put into the pot, Tom Gallagher is waving, we're going to put into the pot scallions. And I've already chopped them up so that you don't have to sit here and watch me chop scallions, because you're going to sit here and watch me chop up the collard greens. That's enough. And we're going to turn these and smooth these around and get these to warm up and to soften. And we're also going to add shallots. So I've already chopped these shallots, but let me show you what a shallot looks like. This is a shallot. Hey, Heather Glussman, happy you're here. And she's saying hello, which I appreciate. This is a shallot. Shallots are part onion, part garlic. And so I've already chopped it. They have a light garlic flavor and a light onion flavor. And I like these a lot because raw onions are not for me, but I can deal a little bit with raw shallots if they're marinated in a vinegar and olive oil. That takes whatever acid is in them out. So there's that. And while these are sauteing up and while they're softening, I picked these fabulous collard greens out. Hello, Lene, how are you? I'm going to be, just to show Lene, I'm going to be using my tomato slicer in a minute. I hope you're using yours. So this morning I picked these fabulous collard greens out of my garden. Now the really strange thing is I went to the Whole Foods earlier this morning, and the collard greens in Whole Foods are like the size of a fan. They're absolutely gorgeous. And so I guess these would be considered baby collard greens at this point, which I don't mind. Here's a little bit bigger one. But I like them when they're a little bit more like baby collard greens out of my garden as opposed to really big, because they can get really tough and very difficult to use. So let me just turn this down as we smooth these out. You know, Lene, you are going to get the award for joining me almost every day, and Roseanne. And there we go. We've got lots of hearts, lots of people tuning in. So if you notice, I stack these like this. We're going to fold them over like a cigar, like we do the basil. Sorry about that. Trying to get you so that you can see. Give me a 1 if you can see. There we go. And I'm asking Saeed to say hello. Let's see. Oh my God. Agnieszka Lemanaika is watching. All right. I know I butchered your name, and I definitely apologize for that. That's a full mouthful when I haven't seen it before to work out the phonetics of it, but we're happy to have you here. Where are you joining us from? Okay, so there we go. Okay, there we go. So can you see I rolled it like a cigar, and I'm just cutting it not as thin as I would cut the basil usually, but about, I don't know, maybe a ½ inch or so thick. There's some stems that got in there, but I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle these right into the pot, as you can see. And we're going to just grab these other ones. So I had these laying out on my rack over here, and I'm just going to take them and stack them back, as many as I can, so we can go through it rather quickly. But they really are beautiful. Look at that, just so beautiful. Look at that, right out of the garden. I did not wash these with food grade hydrogen peroxide because there is nothing in my garden and no one has touched these but me. So I did rinse them in water to get the dirt off of them because it was very windy these last couple of days. So I did wash them to get the dirt off, but I did not, if you will, sanitize them with the food grade hydrogen peroxide, because I know where these have been and I know who has touched them, and I know that it is an organic garden for sure. Okay, so there's that. Let's put these down. So we're talking about the big game. What are you guys planning on making for the big game? In just a few minutes, I'm going to show you the most unusual marinade ever for our tri-tip that we're going to be barbecuing, because as you know, I just installed my new barbecue, which I'm very excited about. Turning this up. So there we go. And I'm back over here while I guess you don't mind watching me stack them a little bit, because what else would there be to do if you didn't watch me do this? But you can see it, I'm stacking them. Very nice. I'm thinking I might be able to get all of these. Now the real key to collard greens, everyone, and really keep this in mind, you can find this recipe, by the way, on nannybubby.com under Cook, Side Dishes, Collard Greens. Cook, Side Dishes, Collard Greens, nannybubby.com. The Happy Spice cabinet is there. So if you'd like to download the 19 essential herbs and spices you need to have in your kitchen to have a successful kitchen and to successfully cook and follow just about every recipe, then by all means go to nannybubby.com, go to Cook, and download the free recipes. Okay, so Douglas Eicher is watching. Hey Doug, how are you? I think Doug is in Florida for some reason. I think that he's related to Sue and he's in Florida. I could be right, I could be wrong, but Doug, tell me if I'm right or wrong. Hi Barbara Kirsch, so nice to see you here. Happy to have you. We're making collard greens. There we go. Okay, and we're gonna cut these. We've rolled them like a cigar, and I feel like I'm in Cuba when I do this, because when I was in Cuba, I went on a mission, a medical mission to Cuba, and it was so interesting. I loved it. And for Super Bowl, I was making part Cuban food, but to be honest with you, I was kind of faking it, because I don't think the people that were coming would know the difference between real Cuban food or Spanish food that I was kind of caught. Oh, Las Vegas. Okay, Doug. I must have you confused with someone. But are you related to Sue Eicher? Yeah, I think you are. You gotta be. It's the same last name, right? So, sorry. Siri just decided to talk to me. Hey, Teresa. Nice to have you here. But it just so happens that one of my husband's dearest friends is married to a Cuban girl, and at the very last minute, they're going to be coming on Sunday. So I don't think I'm going to be able to fake, Hispanic, Mexican food for Cuban, except that I bought plantains. So maybe that's about the best fake I can do. So we'll see. I'll let you know how that turns out. She's very sweet, so I'm sure she'll judge me gently. So here we go. We're going to throw in the garlic now, because you don't want to burn your garlic, so you always put it in at the last minute. Now, as I started to say, the key to collard greens is that you are going to pre-cook them, like right now, and then what you are going to do is let them cool, and then you're going to reheat them. And I don't know why that is what it is, but I can tell you that what happened is my television sponsor was going, hey Sherry, nice to have you here. Ex-sister-in-law. Okay, I got it. Okay, but you still love her. All right. talking to Doug, if everybody sees his chat down below there. Got to keep your eye on the chat or you kind of lose track of the conversation, right, guys? So 1 teaspoon of the red chili pepper. So there we go, with the left hand. So my television sponsor was born in Morocco, Moroccan Jew, and he moved to Georgia. So he loves collard greens, right? Loves collard greens. So when I had him on the show on Channel 8 here in Las Vegas, what I did is I made collard greens. Well, I had to pre-cook them at home, like what I'm doing now, and then I had to turn them off and cool them and take them to Channel 8 with me. And it was the reheating and the re-cooking of them that turned them to the most tender, most delicious collard greens ever. And when the show was over, I saw him in... Siri is talking to me in my ear. Cancel, Siri. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. When the show was over, he tasted the collard greens. He tasted them live on the air. And then he said, oh my God, Marla, these are the best collard greens I've ever had in my life. And while we were cleaning up the Channel 8 kitchen, he went over to the side of the kitchen, the corner of the kitchen, and he just started eating the collard greens. It was hilarious, and I couldn't believe it. I was, hey, Linda Sells McGuire, so nice to see you. Welcome to It's Time for Dinner with Nanny, Bubby. We're making collard greens, and so happy that you joined us. I was just telling the story that the key to this recipe, which you can find on nannybubby.com, cook side dishes, free recipe, you can download it all you want, is the key to this recipe is making everything now, making it like you're going to serve it right now, then letting it cool, and then reheating it for about 20 minutes before you serve it. And the collard greens, which can be very tough and sometimes a little bit bitter, loses all of that. And I love these little hacks that I accidentally found out. I mean, I've been trying to make this recipe work for many moons. It's the only collard green recipe that I had, and come to find out, the fact that I had to cook it at home before going to Channel 8 with it was the key, is that you let it simmer. And so what we let that simmer in was a cup of vegetable stock. You could use chicken stock, but I have a few members of my family that are vegetarian, so I always use vegetarian stock. So a cup and a half of, I put in a little bit more than a half, so we're just gonna put a little bit, a cup and a half of vegetarian stock. So we have salt, pepper, 1 teaspoon of red chili pepper flakes, we have scallions, we have shallots, and we have the collard greens. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this up and bring it to a simmer, okay? And then I am going to do what I love doing the most, working with my very favorite kitchen tool. Let me step over here. Hello. Oh gosh. You know, I used to do live TV for years, and don't you know that I had 3 camera people helping me when I was on television, but here in Nanny Bubby's kitchen, it's me. It's the burner that my sister gave me. It's my tomato slicer, my iPhone, and me doing the camera work. So where is Lucy when you need her? I'll tell you. Lucy used to be a cameraman for me, camerawoman, and she used to be also a floor person, my floor director. Okay, so here's the tomatoes. 1, 2, 3, all loaded in, halved. Isn't that fabulous? And into the pot. You can see that. So if you have trouble getting them out, let me just show you, because these are not coming out. If you have trouble getting them out, Lene, with yours, just push them down with the blade. There you go. And they come right out. And we've got a few more, so let me bring you back to there. Square one. Load up the tomatoes. Okay. And we're going to get this into the pot, let it sit for just a few minutes, and I am going to show you how to season the tri-tip. So the thing about tri-tips is they're very tough meat, and because I just got my grill installed and my griddle installed, I really was hoping Kansas City would win, because I really wanted to do Kansas City barbecue. So that's what's coming next here. Okay. Hey, Donna Yavitz, so nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Sorry about that, Donna. Okay, so there you have it. These are the collard greens. It's heating up. It's going to come to a simmer. I'm gonna let it simmer for just a few minutes, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off. There it comes. Okay. So while I gather everything for the tri-tips, I'm gonna let these simmer just ever so briefly. I'll let you watch that while I bring over. It's such a isn't that just beautiful? It's just so beautiful. And the tomatoes will keep their color, and the collard greens keep their color. And what we'll do is when we reheat them later, the stock of the vegetable stock will evaporate and thicken, and these are just going to be fantastic. So we're going to serve this with some salmon tonight. So this is how we're breaking our fast. We had a little bit of food earlier in the day just to gradually put things back into our system, but we're going to have these fabulous green collard greens filled with vitamins and minerals, and the tomatoes. These tomatoes did not come from my garden. We've already eaten most of them, though I have some green ones still ready to ripen, and we're going to do those later. So, okay, here I am. Okay. Anybody else joining us? No? Okay. So let's go to the tri-tip now. Here we go. This is simmering. I'm going to turn it off, put the top on, and there you go. So excuse me while I turn my back to you. We're going to go right here to the tri-tips. You see that? Yep, there we go. And some garlic and a shot glass. So why do I have a shot glass? Anybody know? Do you know what I'm putting in as the shot glass? I'm going to let you guess at that. Type in the chat. What do you think I'm putting in this shot glass? And it starts with some tomato juice and a little bit of Tabasco right here. Smoked Tabasco, chipotle smoked Tabasco. Okay, and also, here it comes, wait for it, some vodka. And normally I say when you're using, as an example, wine in a recipe, you always want to use good wine. Wine that, you know, if it's a half a cup of wine, you've got a bottle left over and you're not going to let it go to waste, so you want to be able to drink the wine. Well, this is vodka, and it's not the best vodka at all. In fact, I don't know this brand, and it's been sitting in the cupboard for a while. So we're going to put vodka into this recipe. So here is the recipe. At the end of the day, these tri-tips are very, very tough. And the tomato juice actually helps to break down the meat and to keep it from being quite so tough. So here we go. What we're going to do is we are going to salt both sides of these. Here we go. We'll do salt. And then we're going to pepper. There we go. And pepper. Okay. And then we're going to turn it over. And salt and pepper both sides. So usually I say hold your spoon up very high. Yay for the vodka. All right, Teresa, there you go. So there we go. Now, we're going to start backwards again. So after we just did the salt and pepper, we are going to take what I call, you know, it's one of our 19 essential herbs and spices. And I think actually, Teresa, you were the one who turned me on to celery salt because I didn't have it as a staple actually, but I do now. So it's part of the 19 essential herbs and spices. So basically what we're doing is we're making a Bloody Mary. And the Bloody Mary is actually going to marinate this meat, and it's going to break the meat down. So ready? We are going to get this celery salt generously all over this meat. Okay? And we're also going to take some smoked paprika, and we're going to put smoked paprika, which is my second, well, really my most, well, kosher salt is actually my most favorite spice, and smoked paprika is absolutely to die for. So a little bit of smoked paprika. A lot of people, some people do put smoked paprika into their Bloody Marys. Okay, here we go. The generous pour of the celery salt. Basically, we're getting ready to make a Bloody Mary. Okay, and a little bit of smoked paprika. Go. So I will, there we go. I will put this recipe into the gather group. Oop, there we go. Okay, into the Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group, so you can look for it there. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I think I'm gonna take this and pour it into collard greens, that's leftover vegetable stock. And we're gonna take these are 2-gallon bags, 2.5-gallon bags. Just because I didn't know if this would actually fit in the 1 gallon, and I use these 2.5 gallons for packing, believe it or not. So I have them on hand, and I thought that they would be easier to marinate the tri-tip in. So let's get that tri-tip back down. So what we're gonna do is we are going to put the tomato juice into the bag, about a cup of tomato juice. We'll see how that fits in here. So 1 cup of tomato juice. I think it could use just a little bit more. No, I think that's gonna do it. Maybe just a 1/2 cup more. So you just wanna make sure that the meat is covered, right? So there we go with about a 1/2 cup more. Now I'm going to take this chipotle flavored, smoked flavored Tabasco sauce. Now this is the thing, I would not use regular Tabasco because it becomes too spicy. And what you're really doing is you're wanting to flavor and you're wanting to break down the meat with the acid from the tomato juice. And a couple of whoops of the chipotle I think is a very good idea. And I'm also going to take now the garlic and put, I put too much garlic in there. I'm gonna take a little bit of that out because I'm gonna use it for the other bag. Okay, yep, that's perfect. And then I am going to, here comes the vodka, which I cannot open. So you know what, oh, there we go, here it comes. Where is that shot glass? So I'm gonna put a 1.5 shots of vodka right into this bag. 1 3/4. Okay, there we go. I can smell that vodka. I kind of like it. Let me wipe my hands, hold on. Okay, so that is bag number 1. And that is our fabulous tri-tip. Okay, zip it up. Now I'm gonna continue to use this baking dish to marinate them in because sometimes bags can start leaking even though they're not supposed to. So let's get the second tri-tip right in here. Go into the bag. Same thing now. About 1.5 cups of the tomato juice. Go right into the bag. And again, the tomato juice, some people use Coca-Cola, but I refuse. So I will use the tomato juice, the organic tomato juice, the chipotle smoked Tabasco, which is fantastic, the garlic, which I pulled out of the other bag because I put too much in, and a 1.5 shots of the vodka. Ready? Here we go. There's the vodka. Oh, that was way more. Well, this one's gonna get a little extra vodka, but hey, it doesn't hurt. Okay, so there's the bag. There we go. So we basically made ourselves a Bloody Mary right into the bags of the tri-tip. And we are gonna let this marinate until Sunday, and it will be fantabulous. And so that's my hack for breaking down the tri-tip so it's nice and tender. So we will start these in the oven, and we will start roasting the tri-tips into the oven. Hey, Tom Gallagher. We'll start roasting them in the oven, and then right before, hey, Greg Solomon, how are you? So nice to see you. I love it when you join all the way from Detroit. And so we will start roasting them into the oven. We'll take them out right before halftime. We're gonna throw them on the barbecue. We'll baste them with a fabulous barbecue sauce that I made on Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday for you guys. On Tuesday, we made barbecue sauce, Town Line barbecue sauce. And we'll baste this and put all the barbecue sauce and some sauce on the side. And that's what our game day is going to be. We're gonna have a Greek salad along with it. because who doesn't love a Greek salad? And in honor of Tampa Bay, we're making a seafood paella. And so there you have it, food to match appetite, food to match the teams, and a big, great celebration day ahead. And even though it's for a small group, it doesn't mean that it can't still be fun and festive and have great food. So I wish all of you the best day ever, a best big game day, and remember, I'll say it along with me, go out and spread love like butter. Bye, everybody. Oh, Linda Sells just showed up. Okay. Nice to see you, Linda. Bye, everybody.